Welcome back to the Run the Gauntlet Fantasy Football Podcast, folks. Today we're going to talk about in-season management and draft recap. Folks, welcome back to the show. As always, this is the Run the Gauntlet Fantasy Football Podcast. I am Jimmy LeBeau, and I'm working by myself today. However, we are always in conjunction with the Game Changer Sports Network. We love their platform. Guys, check them out. Please follow us on Facebook as Run the Gauntlet. Follow them on Facebook as the Game Changer Sports Network. Follow us on YouTube as the Game Changer Sports Network. And check out their website, www.thegamechangersportsnetwork.com. Really nice articles, really well done professional stuff. I recommend all of you take a look at that. So, to get on topic today, guys, I want to do a little bit of draft recap from one of my drafts last week, as well as kind of some potential in-season management things I might have to address. Some potential, a couple of waiver wire moves I've made, a couple of proposed trades I've sent out there. And yeah, I'm just gonna get right to it. So I did this league. It was a 10-man PPR league. I was the 7th pick, I want to say. I actually forget where I picked. Hold on. But it's not where I picked isn't as important. It was on the back end of a 10-team league. So to start off my draft, I went with Odell Beckham and Christian McCaffrey. Can't beat that, guys. I'm very high on both of those players this year. I think Odell Beckham has a dark horse chance to be number 1 wide receiver in the league this year, and Christian McCaffrey has a chance to be a top 6 back, so I love both of those picks. Beyond that, I have Andrew Luck at my quarterback, Dion Lewis to round out my running backs, Odell Beckham Jr. and Stephon Diggs at my wide receiver. My tight end is Rob Gronkowski. My flex at the moment is Jarvis Landry. My defense special teams is the Broncos, and my kicker is Harrison Butker. So right off the bat, just had to go through a few of these matchups. And number 1 to start off, I have 2 guys on the road, and that's my kicker and Dion Lewis. So that's always pretty good. Usually guys perform better at home. I like to start off with that. Kind of a little DFS tidbit there that I like to throw out there. I think Stephon Diggs versus San Francisco is an excellent Week 1 matchup. Dion Lewis against Miami, even on the road, is a nice matchup. Odell Beckham Jr., Jalen Ramsey. The verbal jabs have been thrown. The jabbed Eli Manning has been thrown. I expect to see a nice little comeback with the right hook. I don't know if it's going to come from Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if it's going to come back from Odell Beckham. But I expect fireworks Week 1. It is an awesome Week 1 matchup. You get the best wide receiver versus the best cornerback in football. I'm so excited to see it. Obviously, those 2 titles of being the best at their position are subjective. I just want the big. This is a big fight, man. This is Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker at WrestleMania. This is that type of a matchup. Odell Beckham and Ramsey. I'm so excited. Obviously, you have the Week 1 return of the man, the myth, the legend, Captain Andrew Luck himself at home in front of the Blue Faithful in Cincinnati against the Bengals, who I do like this year, so I expect this to be somewhat of an offensive shootout. They let go of a couple of defensive players, George Iloka, while at the same time they re-signed not Marcel Darius, my mistake. They re-signed Gerald McCoy and Carlos Dunlap. So there's something to like there. So their defense will be strong, but I think Andrew Luck will take that. I think both teams on the rise this year. They've been playoff teams in the past, and I think we could see a return to the playoffs. Honestly, Indianapolis and Cincinnati are 2 of the teams that I really do feel have a chance to return to the playoffs this year. Some teams that missed it and are kind of in a couple rebuilding years. Watch out for both those teams going forward in the regular season, and obviously wins and losses do not affect fantasy football directly, but wins and losses do separate a lot of players on a lot of teams, and they could be the difference. If you have a player on a team who's really trying to win games, he's going to be playing harder because he's trying to win some games. I mean, it's that simple. There's a lot of common sense factors to why you play somebody on a given week. I'm not benching Andrew Luck. It's not my point of saying this to you, but play matchups and have players on good teams. Okay, so speaking of players on good teams with maybe not the best matchup, but a good matchup, the Houston Texans are playing the New England Patriots Week 1 in New England. That works out very well for my healthy Rob Gronkowski to start the year. I think that's a great matchup. I think I could win that matchup this week. Looking at some of the guys on my bench that have a really interesting matchup, I have both my Brownies, Jarvis Landry and Carlos Hyde against Pittsburgh, Tariq Cohen's against Green Bay, Robbie Anderson against Detroit, obviously Edelman is suspended, Theo Riddick against the Jets, CJ Anderson's my handcuff, and Tyler Lockett against Denver. Now, I want to get into Tyler Lockett, folks, because I actually did not start the year with Tyler Lockett. I recently made an acquisition to pick up Tyler Lockett, and I dropped I mean, it could be worse. Nothing wrong with that. I should have picked up Alfred Morris. Did not have the foresight for that. Okay. Good for White over here. Cooking up Super Bowls. He's got a good squad. He was able to come back from that pretty well, Jerick McKinnon. He would have been very good with Jerick McKinnon. Just to name off some of his players, Kirk Cousins, Ezekiel Elliott, Jay Ajayi, Devontae Adams, Demaryius Thomas, Kyle Rudolph, Sammy Watkins, Eagles defense, Chris Boswell, Mark Ingram, Duke Johnson, Alshon Jeffrey, Chris Thompson, Devontae Parker, Michael Gallup, and he picked up Alfred Morris because he was on top of the league before everybody else. Good for him. He might not have drafted Jerick McKinnon's handcuff, but he did do a good job of getting the backup on the waiver wire. He's going to be a good team. He's probably a good owner. Looking at the champ is here. Another team in the league. We have Ben Roethlisberger, Todd Gurley, Kenyon Drake, AJ Green, Larry Fitzgerald, George Kittle, Allen Robinson, the Chargers, and Graham Gano. That's his starting lineup, folks. There's a lot to like there. I like a couple of these guys in DFS. I own a few of them in another league. Good team he's got here. His bench consists of Rex Burkhead, Josh Gordon, good for him having him on the bench, Pierre Garcon, Rashad Penny, Marlon Mack, Kenny Stills, and Josh Doxson. Okay. Yeah, that's a deep bench. A lot of receivers, lots to like. It's 10 teams, so you're going to see a lot of that. But I think he has a couple of guys, in particular Rex Burkhead, Marlon Mack, Kenny Stills, and Pierre Garcon that'll really show out. Josh Gordon, I'm not on at all. Like, I'm going to be really wrong about Josh Gordon, or I'm going to be really right. And I don't think Josh Gordon's worth a 7th round draft pick, but he's being drafted in the 3rd. Okay, so I'm now going to move on to Team DT with Matthew Stafford, Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman, Doug Baldwin, Brandon Cooks, Greg Olsen, Jordan Howard, the Ravens, and Justin Tucker. Great special teams. Always give a shout out to the guys who do good on their defense and the kickers, and I think Justin Tucker and the Ravens, Ravens defense and special teams is relevant every year. Good on him. You got a couple really nice players here. Baldwin scares me because of his injury. I like Brandon Cooks a lot, so good for him. Jordan Howard's got some wear and tear, but he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. And Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman, and Matt Stafford. I mean, those are guys anybody would be happy to have on their team. Looking at his bench, Tevin Coleman, Kerryon Johnson, Devin Funchess, Carson Wentz, Sterling Shepard, Mike Williams, DJ Moore. All right, guys. He's got a couple of really young receivers. Both of them can ball out. He's got Cam Newton's number 1 outside threat with Devin Funchess, and Sterling Shepard. Okay. He could lose Doug Baldwin or Brandon Cooks' reality, and I wouldn't think it would make him a good team. But he'd be able to rebound from that pretty well. He's very deep. That Mike Williams pick is super high upside. Good for him on that. He's obviously a fan of the show. Mountain King. Okay, guys, we can actually sit here and discuss my Week 1 opponent. So let's get into it. I'm actually going to go to the Fantasy Gamecast on ESPN.com/fantasyfootball. And I'm going to compare this position by position. And I want you to tell me who you think is going to win. Right off the bat, man, this is high caliber quarterback matchup here. Andrew Luck for Cincinnati, Deshaun Watson at New England. I'm picking Andrew Luck. Deion Lewis against Miami, Leonard Fournette against the Giants. I'm picking Deion Lewis. Christian McCaffrey against the Cowboys, Saquon Barkley against the Jaguars. I'm picking Christian McCaffrey. Odell Beckham against the Jaguars, Adam Thielen against the 49ers. I'm picking Odell Beckham. Stephon Diggs against the 49ers, Will Fuller versus the Patriots. I'm picking Stephon Diggs. Rob Gronkowski against the Texans, Travis Kelce against the Chargers. I'm picking Rob Gronkowski. Jarvis Landry against the Steelers, Chris Carson against the Broncos. I'm picking Jarvis Landry. The Broncos against Seattle. If Rob Gronkowski scores 3 touchdowns, your defense is getting 2 points. I'm picking the Broncos. Harrison Butker against the Chargers, Robbie Gould against the Vikings. I'm picking Harrison Butker. Julian Edelman, Mohamed Sanu. I'm picking Julian Edelman. Theo Riddick against Marquise Goodwin. I'm picking Theo Riddick, and I'm a Jets fan. Carlos Hyde against the Steelers on the Browns. Reverse Kelvin Benjamin, the Baltimore. Yeah. Tyler Lockett, Jimmy Garoppolo. Tyler Lockett. I got the advantage, buddy. This is going to be a W. Week 1. Let's get it. I would have said that about any team in the league. In reality, I kind of want to break this guy's team down a little bit because he has a very interesting team. He's doing what a lot of people I see are doing, is drafting Adam Thielen as their number one receiver, which is fine. Like, that's pretty good if you go running back like he did. Like, I'm not against it. He has Will Fuller and Marquise Goodwin and Mohamed Sanu. Even Kelvin Benjamin, I'm a big Josh Allen fan. He might ball out. So, I think they have he has a couple really good guys here. He might need help at the receiver position later on. Maybe he wants to make a trade, potentially. I'm looking at his team right now. One of those backs are always nice. He has both those backs. I'd have to pay a premium to get him. But yeah, we'll see what happens down in the season, because I can foresee him having receiver issues, and I can foresee myself having a running back issue. So that could be a trade down the road. Always thinking ahead, folks. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the All I Do Is Win. He's got a bad man at quarterback. He's got Joe Mixon at running back, Dalvin Cook at running back, Julio Jones and Corey Davis as his receivers, Evan Ingram at tight end, and Derrick Henry at the flex. Okay, that's a good squad. I like that. Got Matt Prater and the Jaguars. Good special teams. On your bench, why are people doing this? Why does people have Dez Bryant on their bench? Why do you even own Dez Bryant? Like, there are starters. Like, Jermaine Kearse is a free agent right now. Quincy Enunwa is a free agent. I know I'm sounding like a Jets fan naming those two, but there are a couple of guys out there. I think even Paul Richardson might even be a free agent. Like, there are a couple receivers on teams that are actually on teams who have been better than Dez Bryant in previous years, and you just own Dez Bryant. But okay, I mean, listen, he's got a big name. Jamison Crowder on the Redskins, Cameron Brate on the on the Buccaneers, Devontae Booker on the Broncos. Nice, that was slick, picking that up. Good for you, man. Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs, Calvin Ridley on the Falcons. Okay, he's got a pretty high upside bench. He might need receiver help on his bench, especially if Julio goes down. But you gotta assume Aaron Rodgers and Dalvin Cook will make up for a lot of that. And potentially, he might even be able to trade Aaron Rodgers if Patrick Mahomes balls out. That might be a week one trade bait right there. Gotta keep that one in mind. I'm gonna go over Team Mob Boss. And Team Mob Boss, I see you have a pretty interesting team here. Cam Newton, you might have the highest scoring quarterback in the league. Isaiah Crowell against the Jets. You are starting a backup. I'm a Jets fan. Stop doing that. Alvin Kamara on the Saints. Keenan Allen on the Chargers. Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs. Jimmy Graham on the Packers. Golden Tate on the Lions. Wow, PPR, this team's really good. Keenan Allen and Golden Tate are great PPR options. Jimmy Graham might ball out. He could be number 2 receiver on the Packers. I see you have Will Lutz at the Panthers. Okay, good squad. Good special teams for the brand. You got Randall Cobb, Giovanni Bernard, Latavius Murray, Amari Cooper. Wow. David Njoku, Corey Clement, and Sony Michel. Not bad. I think you need running back help. Like, that would be my number one advice to you, is to potentially wait for Nick Njoku to ball out, wait for Amari Cooper to potentially ball out, and pick who you like better out of Cobb and Graham in terms of who you like on the Packers offense, and you could potentially flip those to kind of help your running back situation. Dalvin Cook's back up. You could always go to the gentleman who owns Dalvin Cook and try and make that trade. You have players that hold more value to another owner than they are to you. Like, the Michelle, Murray, and Bernard picks would have looked a lot better had you had Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, and Rex Burkhead. But because of that, you might be able to make a trade and flip for one of those running backs. So you're in a pretty strong shape if you manage the season right. I think your starting lineup and your wide receivers are filthy. And yeah, man, Paul Berkowitz, you're going to be a hard team to beat. Already did cooking up Super Bowls. Okay, this is a great name. I can't believe I shot myself. Clever. Okay, so your quarterback is Russell Wilson. Your running back is Melvin Gordon. Your running back is Alex Collins, T.Y. Hilton, DeAndre Hopkins, Delaney Walker, Marvin Jones Jr., Stephen Gostkowski, and the Saints defense. Showing the AFC South some love with your wide receivers and your tight ends. I love it. You got Russell Wilson, Melvin Gordon. Can't beat that. DeAndre Hopkins. You got your first 3 picks were on the money. And even your 4th, you nailed the 4th round. If that's where you got Hilton. Very nice job. Phillip Rivers, Lamar Miller, Jack Doyle, Nelson Aguilar, Peyton Barber, Cooper Kupp, Cortland Sutton. Hey, Jack Doyle, Nelson Aguilar, I see you're a fan of the show. Good job. Lamar Miller, excellent. We discussed him on our show. Peyton Barber, Cooper Kupp, Cortland Sutton. Very nice. Good squad. Team Montgomery, the 4th. Drew Brees. Oh, man. Every one of these teams with a perennial Hall of Famer at quarterback's a threat. LaShawn McCoy. Good for you if it works. Yeah, that sucks if it doesn't. Royce Freeman, good for you if it works. Sucks if it doesn't. It's early on though, and we'll see how it goes. Royce Freeman was declared the backup to Devontae Booker, but I could see Royce Freeman getting that early down work, and if he proves to be pretty good in that, he'll develop third down role eventually. Antonio Brown, Michael Thomas, the receiver, very nice. Zach Ertz, the tight end, that's very nice. Chris Hogan at the flex, you got a good squad here. Okay, your bench, Emmanuel Sanders, Robert Woods, Paul Richardson. So I was wrong that Paul Richardson wasn't a free agent in this league, but hey, that's a nice pickup, man. That's a nice draft pick. Good job. James White, Jared Goff, Kenny Galladay, Ronald Jones. Yeah, man, you got a squad. You're betting on the rookie running back, so you might have a problem there. You got James White. James White's he is Mr. Consistent in PPR. You could probably trade Goff or Breeze for a running back, maybe even Paul Richardson. In fact, shoot me a trade, Paul Richardson for a back. I like it. And Eskimo brothers, probably just Minnesota. Tom Brady against the Patriots. On the Patriots, wow, that'd be something. That'd be great. That's like when Joe Montana played the Niners. David Johnson, Arizona Cardinals. He's actually on that team. Kareem Hunt, Kansas City Chiefs. Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Juju Smith-Schuster, Pittsburgh Steelers. Trey Burton, Chicago Bears. Michael Crabtree, Baltimore Ravens. Matt Bryant, Atlanta Falcons. Rams defense special teams. Okay, that's a nice starting lineup. Tom Brady, David Johnson, Mike Evans, and Kareem Hunt potentially have the potential to be the highest scoring players at their position on any given week. So you can't beat that. I think Trey Burton is a very good option at tight end. Adrian Peterson, Marshawn Lynch, Alan Hearns, Chris Godwin, Aaron Jones, Ricky Seals-Jones, a very nice pick, and Keelan Cole, all on your bench. I like all those guys. You definitely have 3 starting running backs on this team. You most likely have 3. You'll pretty much always have 3 wide receivers. If Alan Hearns proves to be the bell cow, well, not the bell cow, but he should get the lion's share of the targets in Dallas. So Alan Hearns is a nice option. Marshawn Lynch might be a bell cow. He is a bell cow. Like, Marshawn Lynch might be your third back. Like, he's probably that third starter. Adrian Peterson is also a starter. So you have 4 guys that could potentially be that running back. You should reach out to T. Montgomery and try and get one of those receivers, bro, because Hearns, Godwin, Cole, and Seals-Jones, you could definitely improve that. Maybe package a couple of those guys for Robert Woods or Emmanuel Sanders from Team Montgomery. I think that could benefit your team a lot. All right, so now that all is said and done, and I've looked through every team, and I've kind of talked about some in-season management stuff, just to kind of give you guys an idea of how I think about players going forward and the thought that kind of goes into the structure of my team. All right, folks, I think that is it for today. I am Jimmy LeBeau, working with Run the Gauntlet and the Game Changer Sports Network. Like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. Guys, have a happy and safe Labor Day weekend.